Hello, this is Dara, and I want to welcome you back to my Homeschool Hub creation space within Notion. This is video 8, so if you have just arrived, you have missed the majority of the journey, and I encourage you to go back to the beginning and see where this all started. So just a quick recap, we had created all the underlying databases for this space, and now we're actually going to lay it out in a way that makes it easy for everybody to use and get their information. So first, let's just add some delight to this space, and I'm going to do that by adding a cover image. It's just choosing randomly amongst the gallery of images that they have here, but you can also upload an image, you can link to an image, and you can use Unsplash, which is a service that just does some really beautiful imagery that is, that people can use for different things. So I'm going to go ahead and search for school, and I'm going to pick this design, which is an old, like, antique classroom. I just think that's fun. I'm going to add an icon as well, and again, it's just picking randomly. So I'm going to click on that, and I can grab any emoji I want. I can upload or I can link to an emoji. So I'm just going to do crossing, so that I can get to that school crossing emoji icon. All right, so let's go ahead and create the sections that I want to be in this homeschool hub. Now, this homeschool hub, anybody can come here in the school unless you decide on your own that you're going to restrict it. I'm leaving it open. But the areas that I create for the students, that's actually where I expect them to go to. This is probably more the area that I'm going to be seeing as I manage the school. So let's create some areas. First, I'm just going to say student. Okay, so let's make all of these an H1. I'm going to make this one have a background color of blue. This one's going to have a background color that's purple. And this one's going to have a background color that is gray. Okay. And then I'm going to put the library in the same column with the student hub. Okay. And actually, I'm going to put the administration in the same column with students, because that way the library has the full space to flow down, and I can even make this smaller. All right, so the library, let's go ahead and add that first. So we're going to go ahead and link to that resources area. Okay. And we want to make sure that we are looking at the gallery view. And I'm just going to go in and I'm going to make, for the properties, I'm just going to say, go ahead and show the tags, show if it's a favorite. I'm going to make it small size, just to give a little bit more bandwidth. And then I actually added a tag that was like admin. So this is the stuff that's really for me to see in my space, like things that I've gathered that I might want to share later on, or evaluate, or maybe it's a new class I found that needs some research, or whatever it is. But I'm going to go ahead and filter this to not show that tag. Oops. Okay. And here I'm going to do the student hubs. I'm going to create the space for the superintendent's office. Okay, so this will be a page. And so in here, I'm just going to be putting stuff like all the communications that go back and forth, and I might just do them by year. So All right, so any correspondence, so the notice of intent, the progress reports, if there's any other communications of the year, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna make these pages, and then I will be able to store that information here. And by the way, writing the progress report within Notion is really lovely, because then, you're writing right in the space, you've stored it, and then once you've created it, you can go ahead and export that as a PDF, and then you just turn that PDF in. So, write it right in the space. You don't need another tool. You don't need like Word or Apple Pages or Google Docs. You can just do it right here in Notion. All right, I'm going to move the planning area down here, and I'm going to create a mom's space. All right, so really, like if you go back, you'll see at my other videos that I have a whole series that I do about how I set up my daily agenda. So I wouldn't actually have this my mom space. I would actually put what I'm going to put here on the page for my daily agenda, so that I'm seeing it as I'm working through my day. But I don't want to confuse those two videos, so I'm just going to put it here in this space so you can see what I'm going to have in my space. So I'm going to have the oh, actually, before we put anything in here, when I was doing the videos for showing how the assignments worked, I was moving things around. So let's just move some things back so we have stuff to work on. All right. So this way we can see some material show up in this space. All right. Back to mom space, and I'm going to link to that assignments database. I want to give myself the board view, and I'm going to delete that default view. Okay. Now what I'm interested in here, this is not where I'm planning. This is just going to be, like I said, this will be living on my hub page that has my daily agenda with all the things that I need to focus on. So it's not the place where I actually do the work of planning. It's just to see what's going on. So I'm going to hide all of these columns except for needs help and turned in. So when I come here, I'll be able to see, what the kids have been working on. All right, so let's go and we'll create Diaspace. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to create, I'm just going to put her daily schedule in. So, and this is a suggested schedule. This is what, I would like to see happen. And I kind of say, if you can follow the schedule, like, you get the rest of the day to just do whatever you want. Nugget is the dog. So, maybe take a break, maybe walk the dog. That would be great. And I'm like, getting up before noon. So we're kind of loose. My kids they like to live late. I'm the early bird. I get up very early, like when the sun comes up. They kind of have their most activity, as the sun's going down. So this would be great if we had these core hours together, so that, they're finishing their work at the second half of my workday, and then in the evening, that's when we spend our family time together, and I can help them out with anything they get stuck on. All right, and I'm going to create another column that's going to be let's turn this into a heading 2. Oh, somehow this jumped down a spot, so let's put it up. And let's move all of this here in that column. And so things I'd put here is like, passwords or stuff that she'll need to get to. So like her library card. Okay, maybe there's, we actually started a list of like colleges of interest, so we might create this page. Oops. Oh, wow. Gee, colleges. Okay. And, whatever else that she wants to explore here. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little line across. So I'm going to do dash, dash, turn, dash, 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 and it just automated great. So that was 3 times. So that's using Markdown code. If you don't know Markdown code, I actually suggest learning it. It helps, really helps you format within Notion faster, but you can also just come in here and you'll see that, everything that you want is going to be in here. And there's also a help area where it's going to show you like keyboards and shortcuts and that type of thing. All right, so here I'm going to go ahead and link to her assignments. Okay, and again, I want that board view. And I'm going to make sure she stays in the board view by getting rid of that other view. Okay, so here we go. Now she doesn't need to see the no status. She doesn't need to see complete. Okay. And then she doesn't need to see her brother's work. So let's go ahead and filter by student. Okay. All right, now other things we're going to put in here. Let's go ahead and just put her course list. And let's put her progress. She's very much interested in these things. One thing I haven't put is the library. So let's go ahead and also add that. I'm going to do these as wait, how do I want to do this? I'm going to go ahead and make this a column. But I'm going to make progress because I don't want her to be focused on that. I'm going to make that a toggle option. So I'm using the arrow. But again, I could go in here and say turn into toggle. All right, so let's go ahead and put the requirements. I'm going to turn this into, let's just move it out of here for a second until we get it set up the way we want it to look. So this column you actually can't hide, but I'm going to move it to the end. I'm going to move subjects over here. I'm going to go ahead and filter. Okay, and then I'm going to hide this column because it's all about her. I'm going to hide this column. I'm going to do some shrinkage of the columns so they fit better. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and drag that into the progress. So now when she wants to see that, she can open it up. I could just leave it open, but I wanted to show you you do have that functionality so that you could put more things on the page and have them, kind of collapse and not take up as much space. I'm going to do her current course list. And I want to just see the list view of this. I'm going to filter it so that we're only seeing her courses and we're only seeing the ones that are currently in progress, that she's currently working on. And we're going to go ahead and hide the status. Okay. And then that actually gives more bandwidth because we just did a list, so you see how it leaves more space. And then here we're going to put a copy of that gallery. And I'm just going to go ahead and filter this so it doesn't show any tags that have been tagged with admin. And then I'm going to, for the properties, I'm going to make it a smaller card. I'm going to show the tags and whether it's a favorite. Okay. And then the last thing is I'm actually going to come back here in resources and I'm going to put the calendar here. And I want the calendar to be a list. Okay. And what I'm going to do here is I want to add a filter that says that the date is on or before today. Oops, on or after today. And the date is on or before a month from now. So basically showing the next month from today's date, right? So today's August 18th, and you can see here, we can see into September. We're going to go ahead and sort this by the date. Okay, and so you can see it goes to September 18th. It won't go past there because that is a month from now, right? So that's basically the setup of her space. I can come in and do some other things to make it, a little bit more unique. I can let her do stuff to make it more unique, whatever. It's kind of her space. So as long as she's got the information she needs here, she can, put whatever she wants. Maybe there's some information that's handy to get to quickly. All right, I think that's kind of cool, graffiti wall. And so now that I'm in Daya's space, so she doesn't have to come back to this homeschool hub. Like, we've got our menu here with the main workspace. But if I go ahead and as I log in, if I log in as her and I mark her page as a favorite, then you see there's this quick shortcut here to get to her page. And so let's go ahead and add a little emoticon. She's kind of a funny girl, so let's add that. And then you see here's her space. So when she comes in, she can come straight to her favorites, or she can decide she wants to see what's happening at the hub and then come through that way. All right, so let me show you how her day would come. So she would come in, noon. And she'd get ready to do her work. So she'd open up. Oh, actually, this is still too much. I don't want these cards to be that big. They don't have to have all that information. So we're going to go ahead and turn off who it's assigned to because everything's assigned to her. We're going to turn off the course it belongs to. Grade shouldn't be filled out yet, so we're going to turn that off. So just if there's a due date, that's what she's going to see. Otherwise, that's it, just the title. All right, so she's going to come in. She's going to open this up. She'll open it to a full page. She'll come in and get her work done, do the reading, answer the questions, do the lecture, okay? If she gets stuck, if she needs to know any information on the class level, like for instance, where I'm saying these are the workbook pages, she wants to see that, she can click on this, click here, and that's going to take her to the overall course, which, by the way, she has that same progress list here in the overall course, right? Okay. So once she's finished, let's say she gets stuck, she can put need help, right? or she could say, no, I'm actually finished, I'm going to turn it in. So that's how she's going to work. And then what I would do is I come in and I'm looking at my space and I see, oh, this has been turned in. Great. So I open it up, I take a look, and I'm going to say, oh, wait, you didn't answer the questions. So I'll go in here and I'll add a comment. Okay, and then I'm going to give it back to her. Okay, so when she comes back to her work, back to her day, she'll see that that has showed up again, and she'll see that there's a comment there. And she'll be like, oh yeah, I didn't do that. So she'll add her comment. Now, if I add this, I'm logged in as me, so it's just going to add as me, but she'll be like, okay. And then she'll go in and she'll answer her questions, and she'll turn it in again. Okay. Then back on my day, I'm going to come in, and I'm going to see it turned in again, and I'll see that she made this comment. I'll resolve it all because, yes, she's done the work now. And then I'm going to go ahead and give her a grade, and I'm going to mark it complete. And from complete, it falls off the board. I mean, we don't really have reason to go back and look at completed items unless, like, as I'm doing the progress report and I want to pull up a couple examples, then I can go into what's completed to see the examples. But more than likely, when I'm writing the progress report, I'm going to be viewing it on the course level, and then when I go into complete, it's not going to be the list of everything she's completed. It's the things that she's completed for that course. So I'll be able to then grab this example of work that she's done. All right, so the last thing that I want to show is something that typically happens. So she'll go and she'll just decide, hey, I'm interested in doing this thing over here. So like a couple of months ago, she's like, oh, you know what? I was doing, I said, it doesn't look like you've been doing any work. And she's like, oh, I was actually studying 20s fashion. So I'm like, don't just sit around on that. Turn that work in, like show that you're doing that. That counts. So she came in, we created a card, 20s fashion. Okay. And then she opens it up and she might say what she's done. Right, and maybe she says a little bit more than that, and she uploads the collage, right? But then she's turned that in, and now I know this is something she's done. So we go back to MySpace. And I see like, oh, what is this 20s fashion class that's just appeared here, or assignment that's just appeared here? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, well, let's go ahead and turn this into a class. And maybe this is a one-off that fits into a collection of different things that she does, or maybe she actually wants to do a course on fashion, which is what happened. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up. And now instead of choosing one of the classes that she has, I'm going to create a new class by just writing fashion. Okay. Create new page. I'm going to go ahead and give this a grade. Oh, it's numbers. Okay. I'm going to mark it as complete because she's done it. And now I'm going to go in just to finish out that course. I'm going to go and add some information. So this is now in progress. I don't need to put that because I'm going to remember use our template. So I'm going to say new course dia, which automatically puts her name there. I want to assign it to the semester that we're working in. Now, there's not going to be tied to a course because remember, these courses are things that I've built up where I have all the assignments inside it. And maybe we do turn out and say like, we found a class online and she wants me to set it up for her, or maybe it's just more loosey-goosey and she's just studying anything that catches her interest in fashion. So when she's all done with this class, I'm going to look and see, well, how much stuff did she do? If she just did a small amount of work, maybe it's, a quarter credit. If she did, more, it's a half credit to all the way to full credit, whatever she decides to do. And I'm going to go ahead and, so I can see later, filter this by that fashion class. Okay, so that gives, and then here you can see it's incomplete. So that's a way to let your children kind of, self destinied themselves into some work, the things they're doing. Like, she was working, she had a computer science class, she was building her own computer. And then she started, modding using that computer to mod, the games that she's playing. So getting into the code and changing the code. I'm like, that's part of your computer science class. Turn that in as an assignment, get credit for that. So, but you see how, like, building this took us some time. I mean, it took, six video. This is the 8th video, so introduction. So 6 videos altogether to build out this application using Notion. But you see now, once we've got it running, it's really, really easy for us to use to manage our space. And, let me say the cleanup at end of year was so simple because all I had to do is I went in, I actually opened this 2 windows. So I, command on a Mac, control on a PC. I opened a new tab, and I had the one tab where I'm working on the report, and I had the other tab where I'm going in and getting the information about that course, right? So here's all that information about the course. So I'll copy the description. Actually, I'm looking at the course and not the, let's go back. I want to look at enrolled courses. So here's all the information about, that course that she took, and I can see the assignments that she's finished and get information and examples if I wanted, and just write this up. And then once it's done, that year is completed. So I go ahead and close this. And, I add a course grade and I add the credit, and we don't have to think about this class again, except for, looking at how that filled out her credits and her transcripts, right? It's pretty awesome. I love this tool. I love working this way. I love building this. So I hope that this was useful for you. I hope that, you enjoyed this journey along with me. And, maybe this is something that you absolutely just take exactly what I did. Maybe you take it and tweak it to be your own. Or maybe you just use it as an interesting lesson for building stuff in Notion. Either way, I hope you enjoy this video. Please click subscribe. If you don't have a Notion account yet, the link is down below for you to use my code for Notion so you can give back to me for this video series. And of course, check out some of my other series. Take care and goodbye.